Assalamu alaikum. Today we'll be discussing the topic radioactivity. We have discussed first topic from this section, that is atomic physics, in which we discuss the structure of an atom and we discuss the Rutherford's atomic model and we discuss the atomic and mass number and isotopes related to that topic. Okay, so now we'll be discussing the radioactivity. We'll be discussing three types of radiations and what are the nature of those radiations and uh, how will those radiations affect a nucleus. Okay, so uh, second half is dealing with radioactivity and the properties of alpha, beta, and gamma radiations. Uh, will take a minute. Okay, so we'll be discussing the nature of these. At first, the history. So it was started by the scientist Henry Becquerel, late 19th century. That scientist incidentally discovered that when he was handling the material uranium, so it was affecting the photographic film which was in his pocket. So it means that material is making some emissions, which is making some impressions, and those emissions cannot be seen, and impressions are being made on the photographic film. So, following the two scientists, Marie Curie and her husband, they also started working on that, and they found out that there are some more materials like radium who are also performing the same action. So, there are three types of radiations: alpha, beta, and gamma. And as we cannot see those radiations, so we need to have some detection apparatus and the process through which we can detect these radioactive emissions. First one of them is gold leaf electroscope. So I guess you would have discussed it in static electricity, the working of that gold leaf electroscope. It consists of a glass jar so that the inside is transparent. We have a metal head, metal rod, two gold leaves which are very thin and lightweight and good conductor of electricity. And that electroscope shown here is already charged because both the gold leaves are split apart. Those are away, those have moved away from each other. Okay. So if we bring a radioactive source near it, this radioactive source will cause ionization of particles, ionization of air particles here. You would have also discussed this ionization process in static electricity. I'll repeat that once again. So what happens if we have a neutral atom with the equal negative and positive charge, means neutral atom. So what will happen if we provide energy to that atom, electron will gain energy and it will come out of the shell, overcoming the electrostatic forces. So that particle which has come out is an electron, it is negatively charged, and the rest of the atom now is deficient of electrons, so it is positively charged. So we can say that this electron which has come out is negatively charged, and now the rest of the atom is positively charged. So basically we have ionized a particle here. So when we'll bring the radioactive source here, it will provide some positive and negative ions in the environment, right? So there is a provision of positive and negative ions in the environment. Now this gold leaf was previously charged. For example, it was charged with electrons. It was negatively charged. So situation would be like this. It would have excess electrons on it, on the leaves and on the metal head. So if this metal head is negatively charged, it will be attracting positive ions from the air. So positive ions will be attracted and electrons will be repelled away. So when positive charges, ions will be attracted to the plate, those positives will charges will come to the gold leaves and gold leaves will be neutralized. Okay, so gold leaves, when those are neutralized, those will not be deflected anymore, and those gold leaves will be neutral and they will come back to the original position. So it means if we bring a radioactive source near a charged gold leaf electroscope, that gold leaf electroscope will end the deflection. It will reverse the deflection of the gold leaves. Okay, so that will tell us that the source which we have brought near is emitting radioactive emissions. Okay, moving on. Uh, process will remain the same if gold leaf would be positively charged. So result will be same for that too. So this gold leaf electroscope is just telling us about the presence of a radioactive source. Okay, next we talk about the cloud chamber. Cloud chamber tells us about the presence of radioactive source. It also tells us the type of radioactive emission by giving some patterns here. So we'll discuss that how. So at first we'll discuss the apparatus here. We have a container which has a top window which is transparent. So observations can be taken from the top. Observations can be seen from the top. And inside the container, we have alcohol fumes. And to provide a constant supply, we have filtering soap with alcohol at the corners. So it's providing a constant supply of alcohol vapors inside. And to maintain the temperature, we have dry ice here beneath a black plate. We have dry ice, so it's maintaining the temperature inside. Then we place a radioactive source here. So what will it do? It will start emitting radioactive emissions. Air particles will be ionized here. And when a particle is ionized, um, alcohol fumes will be condensed around that ionized particle, and that condensed droplet can be illuminated through the light source. We have the light source here too, and when we observe it from the top window, we are able to see different tracks of ionized particles over the black plate. Now imagine an um, illuminated ionized particles will be more visible over the black plate. So this is the kind of result which we see if we have three types of particles, alpha, beta, and gamma. So these are type of tracks which we see. If we have alpha particles, you see thick straight tracks of ionized particles. Beta particles, thin curvy lines, smaller in length. Gamma rays, very small curved thin lines for gamma rays. So that means alpha particles is causing a lot of ionization as compared to beta, and beta is causing a lot of ionization as compared to gamma. So can we say that, can we conclude here that alpha particle is highly ionizing, beta particle is lesser ionizing, and gamma rays is even lesser than that. And we have a ratio here. The ratio of ionizing power is if gamma rays considered 1, beta particles is causing comparative ratio 100, and alpha particles ratio 10,000. So ionizing power of three types of radioactive emissions is in the ratio 100 and 10,000. Moving on. So next we'll see a type of detector, that is GM tube, Geiger-Müller tube. Now what do we have in this tube? We have a battery here. We have connected that DC source. Positive terminal is connected to a metal rod, and negative terminal is connected to a container. So you are looking at the side view of that container. For example, this is a container, hollow cylinder. This is a hollow cylinder. So we are looking at the side view. But if we look it from the front, so that is hollow inside, and there can be a metal rod at the center. It can be like, if you have looked closely, a charging pin, or if you have looked at a cable TV connector for the LED screen. If you look that from inside, so that's a hollow cylinder, and at the center we have got a metal pin. So Positive terminal of the battery connected to this this metal rod. So it will be deficient of electrons. It will be known as anode. Negative terminal is connected to the boundary of the container. So that is cathode. Uh, it has excess of electrons. We have argon or neon or helium gas inside the container. And to enclose that, we have a mica window. That mica is very thin sheet, even thinner than that paper. So when we bring the radioactive source in front of it, what will happen? That argon or the gas particles inside will be ionized, and we will have provision of positive and negative ions inside the container. Negative ions will be rushing towards the center rod because that is positively charged or deficient of electrons. So negative charges will be approaching the center rod, and positive charges will be approaching the boundary of the cylinder. So before the ionization process, this circuit was open. You can see anode, battery source, a rate meter, and this boundary of the container. So there is no connection in between. That is an open circuit. It is not closed. So previously there was no current flowing through it. But now when there is provision of ions and positive and negative ions are approaching the two electrodes, so electrons or ions will flow through the circuit, and there will be electric current through it, and rate meter will be showing some readings, or it will be making counts. You would have seen this gm tube in some science fiction movies, as some scientists uh, are moving it in front of a rod. It's connected against a rod, and that rod is being moved to detect for radioactive sources. So you can hear the sound tick tick sound against it. So when there are more radioactive emissions, its frequency will increase. There will be more radiations. There will be more frequency of sound. So that can also be displayed on a digital meter, those number of emissions. Okay, so this is the third type of detector. Now we'll be discussing the properties. First of all, we have discussed the ionizing power. So there are three types of radiations: alpha, beta, and gamma. At first, we'll discuss the ionizing effect, which we saw in cloud chamber. Alpha particles were highly ionizing, beta particles are lesser ionizing, gamma radiations were even lesser ionizing. So it means if alpha particle is highly ionizing, it will lose its energy quickly to the air particles, and it will not be able to penetrate or travel so far in air. So it means alpha particle can travel only few centimeters in air, or it will be absorbed by a thin paper sheet. Okay, so alpha particle highly ionizing but less penetration power. Beta particle are lesser ionizing. It will be stopped by few meters of air or thin aluminum sheet or perspex sheet. Gamma radiations are highly penetrating because these are less ionizing, and gamma rays can only be stopped by a thick lead sheet. Moving on, if we talk about the um, deflection of these three radiations in electric field. So at first we'll discuss the nature. Nature of alpha particle is it contains two protons and two neutrons. Beta particle contains an electron. Gamma radiations are short wavelength electromagnetic waves or high frequency electromagnetic waves. So you can see that beta particle is equivalent to an electron. So its charge on a beta particle will be the charge of an electron, which is equals to 1.6 into 10 exponent minus 19 coulomb. 1.6 into 10 exponent minus 19 coulomb. So this will be the charge on an alpha particle, beta particle. Charge on the alpha particle will be double than that. So beta particle magnitude is this, and it will be negative charge. Charge on alpha particle will be 2 times this charge, but that will be positive charge because those are protons. Okay. So alpha particle has double the charge as compared to beta particle, but you need also to compare the masses of the mass of alpha particle is far more or many times as compared to beta particle. Now you know the mass of an electron is 9.11 into 10 exponent minus 13 minus sorry 31 kg. This is the mass of an electron, and mass of a proton is 1.67 into 10 exponent minus 27. So you can see the order of mass 10 exponent minus 27 kg, 10 exponent minus 31 kg, and alpha particle has four of that, two protons and two neutrons. Mass of a proton and a neutron is almost same. So you can see the mass of an alpha particle is many times as compared to beta particle. Okay, so we'll come to that slide where we'll discuss movement or deflection of these charged particles in an electric field. So if this source is emitting three types of radiations, gamma radiations will be passing straight because gamma radiations are not charged. Alpha particle is being deflected to the negatively charged plate. Beta particle is being deflected to positively charged plate. And you can identify the deflection of alpha particle is lesser than beta particle because beta particle is less massive as compared to alpha particle. Now you'll think that alpha particle has double the charge. So why is it deflecting less? So that is why I stated you the ratio of masses also. Alpha particle has double the charge, but its mass is many times as compared to beta particles. So alpha particle is deflecting less and beta particle is deflecting more. We can also see deflection of both these particles in magnetic field. So here you can see magnetic field is being shown by the crosses. That means direction of magnetic field is into the board. Gamma radiation passes straight. Alpha particle. Now that is a magnetic field, and we have a, a charged particle flowing. So there is current. So if we talk about alpha particle, we'll be using Fleming's left hand rule. Magnetic field into the board. Direction of current is left to right. Thumb is pointing upwards. So you can see that alpha particle is being deflected upwards in magnetic field. Beta particle is negative charge flowing. So direction of current will be considered opposite into the board. Direction of current right to left. Thumb is pointing downwards. So beta particle is being deflected downwards, and deflection is more than the deflection of alpha particle. Reason we have discussed. Rest of the properties. At first, the charge of alpha particle is two times the charge of beta particle. Gamma radiation no charge. Nature: alpha particle is equivalent to helium nucleus. Beta particle equivalent to an electron. Gamma radiation short wavelength or high frequency electromagnetic waves. So I hope you will be able to connect it to electromagnetic spectrums. Last part: speed. Alpha particle is heavier. It is traveling at a speed of 1/10 of speed of light. So that is 0.7, 0.1 c, or the order of 10 exponent minus 7 meters per second. Beta particle speed is almost speed of light, 0.99 c, and gamma radiations is traveling with the speed of light. So speed of light, as you know, that is 3 into 10 exponent 8 meters per second. Penetration power: alpha particle penetrates through few centimeters of air. Beta particle penetrates through few meters of air or few millimeters of aluminum sheet. And gamma radiation can be stopped by, or it travels through few centimeters of lead. Relative ionizing power. So we have discussed that. Yes, all three of them affect radioactive photographic film. Uh, Two of them are deflected by electric and magnetic field. Gamma radiation is not. Next, we can discuss how um, these particles affect any nucleus. So we have seen for alpha particle. In previous lecture, we had discussed the atomic and mass number of different particles. So if we give the mass number and atomic number of alpha particle, so its atomic number will be 2 because it has two protons. and its mass number will be 4 because it has 2 neutrons too. So atomic number 2, mass number 4. So if an unstable atom is making an emission of alpha particle, so I'll give the example here. For example, we have radium with atomic number 88 and mass number 226. It emits an alpha particle with atomic number 2, mass number 4, and what is left is atomic number 86. Atomic number because 2 protons released, so atomic number decreased by 2 and mass number decreased by 4. And what do we have now? That is radon. Radon with atomic number 86 and mass number 224, plus there is release of energy. So you can call it a parent nuclide, radium. It's emitting an alpha particle, and the daughter nuclide is a radon nucleus plus release of energy. Beta particle, for beta particle emission. Now, beta particle is an electron, and it is increasing the atomic number of the daughter nuclide by 1 and mass number remains the same. So we'll see how does that happen. So actually in beta emission, one of the neutron breaks up into a proton and a beta particle. So that is why if we have a parent nuclide with atomic number Z and mass number A, so when we have a beta emission, after that the daughter nuclide, because one neutron has decreased but we have got one proton, so mass number remains the same. Number of neutron has decreased by 1 and number of proton has increased by 1. But then we see when there is an extra proton, so atomic number will increase by 1. Okay, so that's what happens in beta emission. When we have one beta particle emitted, then we have a new nucleus with increased number of protons, increased number by 1, plus there is release of energy. So example is that sodium is converted to magnesium. That is one example of beta particle emission. So I hope you'll be able to get this from this presentation. Gamma radiation. Now in gamma radiations, I'll erase that's here. Gamma radiation, what happens? In gamma radiations, none of the changes are made in a nucleus. Gamma radiation is actually after an alpha or beta emission. For example, alpha particle is emitted from a nucleus. So nucleus is still in an excited state and it will emit some energy, some radiations will be emitted to become more stable. So atomic and mass number does not change during gamma emission. It happens in both the cases, in alpha, after alpha and beta particle emission. Okay, so that will be all for this one. Do subscribe and like and comment. So